Good evening, Thomas Gunn.
Carlos Cobber, how you going, mate? I can feel, I can sense a little bit of sickness in you, mate.
Yes, mate, I had a COVID test today. I've had a fever for a few days. Got pretty bad last night. You know, the cold shivers and the fucking a bit of everything. I had to sleep in the spare room because I was coughing too much. My cough's pretty bad at the moment. The COVID test was different. Sort of just feels like you're railing lines of cocaine.
Have you not had one before?
Never had one.
Yeah, they ram it up your nose, eh?
Yeah, he was gentle, but he was not gentle at the same time. It feels like a slight burning sensation.
Oh, every time my eyes water, it looks like I'm crying like a little bitch.
Oh, mine were watering like crazy.
Yes, mate.
Crazy water.
It's legit.
But I'll try push through. We'll see how we go. I've got no sore. I've got like touch wood, but I've got no sore throat. I haven't had a sore throat in a really long time. I've just got a really bad cough.
Does your missus just think it's the man flu?
Nah, she's the one who called the doctor. So, and she never thinks I'm sick. She always thinks I'm carrying on. But I've been pretty sick for the past 2 days.
She's probably just trying to protect the boy.
That's what I reckon.
She don't give a fuck about you.
Fucking oath, Cobber. It's weird. Last night was weird. I'd sleep for like 10 minutes, wake up for 20 minutes, sleep for 10 minutes, wake up for 20 minutes, sleep for 10 minutes. It was a fucking nightmare.
No good.
And the boys had a stinker of a day today as well. A stinker.
Yeah, that was me. That was me last week with my boy. He just was a devil, absolute devil. Must be a week for him.
They just go through little patches, don't they?
They do, mate. Ebbs and flows.
My mum told me a story that she's told me years ago, but I completely forgot about it. And I want to tell you, I want to share it with you. A couple of years ago, let me start it like this. My mother loves a bargain, right? She's very similar to my dad. My dad's the only man I've ever seen haggle at a Kmart, first of all, right? So he is very, very thrifty, my old man. But my mother loves a bargain. She was at Woolworths, right? And she went... Do you know how at Woolworths you get to like the end of the aisles and they've got like different stuff at the ends, like that they'll put down for free?
Yes.
Not for free, I should say.
Yeah,
for like
cheap, yeah.
Reduced price. Like you'll find a fucking bargain if you're going for a bargain. Look at the end of the aisles. Mm-hmm. So she's come across this thing at the end of the aisle, and it's all of these creams, right? Just cream. $13.99 down to 99 cents, and there was like 20 of them, right? And she's gone, fuck me, I love a face cream. I'm buying them. I don't know why they're so cheap. There must be something going on with them, but I'm buying them. Right, so she's stocked up. She's got all 20. Proud as punch, walking to the counter. And there's a young girl behind the counter. She would have been, 15, 16 probably. And Mum's got a big smile on her face, and she's putting all of her creams up on the table. And she's looked at this girl, and she goes, can you believe this bargain I've got? Like, this is the greatest bargain of all time. I'm so lucky. And the girls looked at her like disgusted. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you, sort of thing. Like, she didn't say anything, but she just had a disgusted look on her face. Mum thought, oh, maybe she thinks I'm a bad person because I've taken all 20 of them. Like, I should probably put some back. And she says to her, should I put some back? She goes, no, you have them. You can take them. They're there to be bought. But she just wasn't. She looked at her like you're a real weird woman. So, Mum's gone home. She's sort of thinking, oh, I wonder what's going on with that girl. So she gets home, she's putting this cream on her face and on her hands and stuff, and it's oily and it's not going into your skin properly. Like, it was fucked. And she was putting this cream on for like a week and a half, and she's looked at it and gone, this is not right. Like, there's something wrong with this cream, because, you know, like normal hand creams and face creams, like they'll sort of absorb. Mm-hmm. So she's fucking around with this cream. She thinks, I better have a look at the fucking box to see what the fuck's going on with it, because I might be putting it on properly. So she chucks her glasses on. So this is the start of all her problems. She hadn't been wearing her glasses, right? So she chucks her glasses on, and she reads the box, right? And on the box it says, this cream is for vaginal thrush. Right? So my mother had been putting vaginal thrush cream on her face lips, right? Bought 20 fucking tubes of it. Proud as punch. No wonder the girl was fucking disgusted. That girl must have thought, you have got the most rancid old rank fucking box this side of the river, you dirty old bat. So, bless your cotton socks, Catherine, putting all that fucking lip cream on the wrong ones, you silly old bat.
Poor bastard.
I know. I've never asked her, though, what she did with the other 19 tubes.
Look, I don't want to know, mate.
I hope she threw them in the bin. It would have. It was only $19 worth of cream. I'm sure you can throw it in the bin.
No, just not that. The chick at the counter didn't say anything.
Just disgusted in
Just
it.
disgusted looking at
Like,
her thinking.
just looking at it thinking, you fucking dirty
Just
old
looking at her
bat.
thinking, if I ever get to that when I'm older, just put me down.
Yeah. Put me down.
Poor
You
woman.
old mongrel of a thing.
Well, I mean, I
Good.
guess
Catherine, that's what you get for being thrifty, though. You've
Well,
got to
the
read the boxes of these things.
moral of the story: wear your glasses.
Wear your glasses.
You
Read
need
the
to
box
see.
before purchasing.
Oh, poor bitch.
Let's,
You don't want vaginal cream on your face.
No, I wonder what the absorption is different, though. Like, vaginal repair cream must have a different absorption rate to sort of facial moisturiser /
It's got to
hand
be a
creams.
bit dense, hasn't it?
Well, I think it would be more oily, because she said it didn't rub in. Like, it wouldn't absorb it.
Oily.
It wouldn't absorb into the skin, probably.
Oh Jesus.
Oh,
Fuck
dirty,
me.
dirty
You come up with some pearlers, mate.
it's wild. She's a wild woman, Catherine. She's got some really good stories, actually. I'll get some more out of her. Some funny stuff that's happened over the years. But let's talk. Let's
Yes.
talk rugby league football.
All right.
Sorry, my mother just tried to call me, funnily enough.
Ah, that's what
So
was
let's-
happening.
Yeah, it's kicked me out, but I've had to cancel the call. I'll call you back, Catherine, later. It's all good. It's all good. My mother's a bit like Marie Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond. And I am the golden boy. Yeah, she's very similar. And I'm the golden boy, Ray Barone. So.
Oh, you're not like his brother.
Oh, Robert. No, that's Keely's brother. Keely's brother's Robert. Don't you worry about that.
The big fella.
He's tall. He looks a little bit like him too, and he's just odd and a bit awkward. Can't dance to save his life, but Robert's a really good dancer. I've been watching Everybody Loves Raymond lately. I've been smashing
Oh,
through
mate,
it.
I love that show. It's goat tier status for me.
I think it's the most relatable sitcom there's been ever made.
The dad is like he reminds me of my old man.
He's a miserable prick, Frank, though,
just
isn't he?
miserable but funny.
Real
Same
funny.
time.
Real funny.
Yes, mate.
And he's into Marie. Doesn't he get into Marie? Poor old
Yeah.
Marie.
She has a fair crack though. She
Can be annoying. She can be real annoying.
Yes, she can be. Grand final. Big
The
one.
GF.
To talk about. Big one to talk
14-12. Penny Panthers. I seen some footage today that there's like 4 or 5 of them still in their like jersey and shorts. They're still partying. They haven't showered yet.
about. As you would, mate. As you
Can
would.
you imagine the smell? Wash your balls, man. They're going to be getting jock rot.
Well, old mate Brian To'o, he proposed to his missus on the.
Yeah, I saw that. Got down on one knee.
Yeah, but then I thought to myself, if you had lost, would you still propose to it?
I don't reckon he would have. I don't think he would have.
It was a bit like, nah, it's not meant to be.
I don't think he would have. I think he wait if he had it planned that they were going to win, and if they lost, I think he would have done it elsewhere.
Yeah,
because
on the
it would have been a bit of a sad story.
What did you think of the game, mate? Very tight one, 14-12.
Mate, it was tough.
Reynolds had a chance to tie the game up. Didn't
Yes.
do it.
He missed a kick from the sideline. He missed a 40-metre drop goal. It was a tough game of footy. It was a lot of argy-bargy basham through the middle. Nathan Cleary's kicking game, I think, was the difference. The game in a whole, I thought, was times of it were dour, but tough at all times, if that makes sense. It didn't have that like exciting flair of the Melbourne Demons, Jeff, that when they ran away with it, it was just a dour, rough as guts game of footy.
Some finals never really live up to the expectation, do they? You can be spoiled and blown away sometimes by two teams that just come out and play absolute fucking pearlers. But
Yep.
not every granny or every final in any sport is going to be, an all-time classic. But I think it was a good game. I think it was a game.
I think it was a great game. It was tough.
From two really great teams that were just trying to slug it out and really try to force their way to win the grand final. Penrith, you could argue that they've probably been the best team in the last 2 years, really, if you want to be technical. I know they didn't win the grand final last year, but...
Do you think they're at the start of a dynasty?
Look, I was just about to ask you that question. I want to discuss that with you. I mean, where do Penrith go from here? Because I know they're losing a couple of players, but are they losing the players that are really going to impact this side winning a premiership?
Yeah,
I don't know. Burton, I think yes, but
yeah,
Capewell, maybe not.
They've got a ready-made replacement for Capewell already.
Yeah,
in Scott
I think
Sorensen.
Capewell's easy to replace. But Burton's a big loss. He's a good player. He's a very good player.
He's a great player.
But you know, it's the first time since 1994 that a partnership of halfback and 5'8" have won the grand final and the Origin the same year.
Jesus, it is
For New South Wales, that is. So Cleary and Luai, they were the first.
And it must have been fucking Daly and Stewart.
Yes, it was. Yeah. So it's been a long time.
That's terrifying times for Queensland.
Exactly.
It's Cleary. It makes me so sick because he's so young, but he plays like a 30-year-old.
Cleary is unbelievable, mate. And I know we talk about Trbojevic all the time being the best player in the league, and I get that. I think he's got a bit more pizzazz and razzle dazzle, if that makes sense. But for me, the person that can control the game, the best player in the game is Cleary.
I think so too. I agree with you. Trbojevic adds more sting. Like Trbojevic means more to Manly, I think, because when he doesn't play, their record's terrible. But Cleary as a halfback, you're not going to beat him for a long time.
No.
I was listening to Cooper Cronk and Andrew Johns talking about him the other day on separate things, and they were both saying the same thing. A lot of halfbacks come into the game now, and they've got 8 things they're decent at, and they have to really knuckle it down and remove 6 of them just to be good at 2. When Nathan come in, he was good at 2 things, kicking and tackling, but then Cleary's built all the short pass, the long pass, the running game, the short kick game. He's built off everything off the 2 things that he was brilliant at, and the 2 things that he was brilliant at keep getting better and better and better. His kicking game is the best in the league by a country mile.
Is unbelievable. Every time he gets that ball,
it's an attacking kick from no matter where he's from.
He's putting you in so much pressure.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. He's a really, really good halfback. And you're probably looking at the start, for me, honestly, you're probably looking at the start of an all-time great here. You could be looking at something similar to Johns. I know he's probably not as what's the word here? He's probably not as dynamic as Joey was. Joey had a lot of flair and a lot of charm in his play, but Cleary is phenomenal. He's a great halfback.
Oh, he's brilliant. See, the thing is with Joey as well, that Joey sort of come out of the gate strong, and they're so similar in so many ways. They're both really defensively sound, and they have fucking brilliant kicking games. But off the back of that is when they start to play good. So I watch Cleary, if he makes solid tackles in the first few sets of 6, and he kicks the ball well in the first few sets of 6, he is going to in for a big game. He'll start running it. Like, if they pick Cherry Evans as the Australian halfback over him, they are fucking kidding themselves.
No, there's no way in this world that's going to happen.
It will be Cleary and Munster, as far as I'm concerned. Cleary will be the Australian halfback for the next decade. He is that fucking good.
He's unbelievable, mate.
And how old is he? 22, 21, 20, something like that? And he plays like it. Halfbacks. It's often said that halfbacks go in stints, right? So the first 50 games, it's the finding out period, and then they go to about 100 games, and they sort of bring some more to the table, and you find out who they are as a player by 150 games. Everyone knew who Nathan Cleary was in these first 50 games, but he just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. He is a superstar. I hope he stays with Penrith. I really do. I don't think he should ever leave.
He's got a steady progression, doesn't he? Like he's just getting better and better as time goes on.
He plays with time, like we say with about all the best players in all the sports.
Yep.
If they play with time, they're almost impossible to beat.
But they've got a good pack as well. They've got good backs. They've got a good team, and I think they can. I mean, it's entirely possible that they could go again. They really could go again because now they're going to build that confidence, and you're going to see them. They're going to believe in themselves last year. And realistically speaking, let's be honest about it. So last year, the only game they lost was the grand final, and we've seen that so many times before in other sports with Patriots and shit like that. You almost don't want to go into a grand final being undefeated because you know it's going to happen, don't you? You're going to lose at some point, and it's probably going to be the granny. However,
they technically just lost the first half because they fought back fucking like crazy in that second half.
And there was a few contentious decisions there that people can go either way and say, you know, on another day we would have won it, and yada yada yada. But if you look at it as a whole and you judge them on the base of 2 years, they lost one game last year, and then they didn't lose that many this year, and they've won the grand final. So I mean, I can make a fair case that they're
all young.
Exactly. I think they've been the best side in footy probably for the last 2 years.
I agree with you. I think this will kill Vorney because Vorney hates their guts with a passion because of what Ivan Cleary did to the Tigers. Vaughan despises them. But I think we've got a bit of a handing over of the guard. Sorry, mate, I can't stop coughing. I think they might be the next sort of Roosters-esque period here, 5 or 6 years. I think if they can keep their main core of players together, the Clearys, the Luais, Coruscant, Fisher Harris, those sort of blokes, they're in for a big one. The only thing I would say, and I'd be interested to get your opinion.
That Yo's a good player too, man.
Oh, mate, I don't know why I forgot him. He's the unsung hero of that team.
He's brilliant.
The genuine unsung hero of that team.
He does a lot of the shit, a lot of the dirty work.
He did a lot of the dirty work in Origin this year.
He does, yeah. He was good in Origin as well. You're right. I think you are right in terms of them having that little bit of a dynasty now. I've always had kind of a soft spot for Penrith because of 2003, and you've got a few mates that support them as well. So I kind of like them, but
Marshy goes for them.
I'm not a fan of them, but you can see they're just beginning to really get that roll on now. They've got so many good players playing for Origin and playing for club, and then they're going to be playing for the Kangaroos as well. And when you get that, and you get that consistently, you're going to build a really, really tough team to beat. And
they're going to be one of these teams that, like, similar to how Joey was for people my age, Nathan Cleary will be that where all the kids start going for Penrith now because of how good they are.
Yeah, but that's
we're sitting there the other night and Kelly goes, I really like the Panthers. They're really good. I'm like, oh, right, very good. I will ask you this.
Panther,
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will ask you this. Do you think if Latrell Mitchell had played, it could have been a different outcome? Because he's a 4-point player minimum.
Absolutely. I mean, look, it's 2 points in it. So when it's 2 points in it, you got to look at players like that and think, okay, well they can alter the swing of a game, and that's why sometimes you got to take a little with a pinch of salt a little bit. Like, okay, they won the grand final and they deserve everything they got. They won by 2 points though, so it's like if Latrell was there and they lost, then are they this great dynasty that they could have? You know what I mean? It's hard to have that that look on it.
I have two opinions on it. My first opinion is if I was Latrell, I'd be so upset at myself because Latrell is so good. He is so good. He could have added so much to that team. I think South probably would have won with him in there. So he needs to clean his discipline up ASAP if they want to start winning grand finals. Part two, if you watch the Panthers finals series with that first loss to South, right? They had probably the toughest slog through like a 4 or 5 game period that I've seen in a while. The first game versus South was just a defensive battle and they just lost. They come in and they beat Parramatta 8 points to 6 in another real tough game. Then they beat Manly in another real tough game, even though they were way too good for Manly. And then a fucking belter of a grand final. That was a really impressive finals campaign.
They didn't beat Manly, they beat Melbourne.
They beat Melbourne, sorry. They beat Melbourne. That's right, they beat Melbourne. But Melbourne, it's the worst I've ever seen Melbourne play.
Yes. But, you can say it's the worst you've ever seen them play, but you've got to give credit to the Penrith because
that's right.
They made them play like that. You know what I mean? But you're dead right. They went through a tough... If you lose that... So when you're in the top 4 and you lose that first game, you get that second chance, it's always... it's 10 times harder to win a grand final from there. And usually, like, you don't win from there. Most teams, if they lose that first one and they got to try, go back to the bottom and work their way back up, very rarely does that happen. Usually the person that wins, or the team that wins that first round that goes into the prelim is usually going to win a granny. But they've done it the other way. They lost and they got to the grand final and won it. And it was a hard hard fight. But sometimes those sort of runs are the reason why teams win it, because they're going through so much shit. It's kind of like you can't be stopped. You know what I mean? There's nothing that any team could throw at you. You're just ready for it.
Dylan Edwards apparently played the game with a broken foot. He'd had a broken foot for about 3 weeks or 4 weeks in a row. There was a lot of players out and they're requiring surgery. Like, you'll hear all these stories that'll come out now about blokes playing injured and battered and bruised. It's fucking interesting to hear.
That's one thing I will say about NRL is that you see that a lot in grand finals where cunts will just play with literally broken anything. Like, look at Burgess when he won that grand final.
Yep, shattered face.
Yeah, like, they'll just do anything that it takes.
Shane Webke played a grand final with a literal snapped in half arm. The grand final that he wore that big pad over it, he couldn't fend with his right arm because his arm was snapped in half.
That's psycho, man. That's psychopath.
But that's what certain coaches can do to players. They'll make them play above what they are. It's like in Origin, right? My favourite ever Queenslander is Nate Miles. I would say Nate Miles was an average NRL player.
Very average.
But when he played for Queensland, he was a superhuman. Something happened to him when he put that jersey on, and he was just another beast.
It's just pride.
Altogether.
It's pride in your state and knowing how much it means to all the people watching and having a hatred for the Blues and making sure that when you go out there you want to have an impact. That's what it is.
That hatred is real, hey. It's like it's fair dinkum.
I'm not even born in Brisbane and I hate it.
It's a proper hatred. Like, it's a disgust.
Yeah, I hate them.
But
I can't stand them. I think they're cocky as fuck. No offense to all the Blues out there listening to our podcast right now, but I do not like you. And I don't like your little blue wigs that you wear in the crowd.
I like you, but I don't like you for 3 weeks of the year.
Yeah, that's it. Do
you know what it is with like Blues people, right? This is what I've noticed. They'll win one series and get real cocky, right? Where Queenslanders will always be, I think the Blues might win it again this year, and we'd already won 7 in a row. We're a bit on the back foot. We make ourselves the underdogs, even though we're not, and we always ride with it.
Yeah.
I can see this Blues team running away with a couple. I thought they were going to win last year until Munster come out drunk and killed them, but there's a real bit about this Blues side. I think this
current crop, you are right. I think this current crop of Blues will genuinely win the next 3. With ease.
I would be interested to see if they could get up to the heights of the 8 or the 11 out of the 12, which I don't think they're going to. But
see, the thing is too with that 8, this is what people don't realise, or what I think people don't realise, is that you could make a fair argument that a lot of those series that they won, Queensland weren't the best team. But
they just found a way to win.
They found a way to win. They won a lot of games by 1 point. They won a lot of games by 2 points.
Or they'd come back and score in the last few minutes to go back over.
Whereas New South Wales, I feel, have never really had that about them. The amount of times Queensland over the years since I've been alive have come back from behind and won games. That doesn't really happen with the Blues. Not as much.
New South Wales will often blow us out of the water and win 30-4 and stuff like that. But when it gets into the real tight ones, that's what I think the difference with Cleary will be. When it gets into the tight ones, I think he's going to be able to pull them through it. It's a scary prospect, man. It's a really scary prospect.
It's going to be a tough few years, but that's what happens with Origin and any sport. It kind of goes in cycles, doesn't it? Queensland dominate for so long, and then New South Wales will dominate now for a little while, and Queensland will have to find all their young players again, and then it'll change, and Queensland will be good for again. It's just how it goes,
Exactly. It's just the ebbs and flows of rugby league. The thing that worries me with Queensland at the moment is we haven't got any explosive outside backs.
That was the issue. So I remember saying to you when those games were being played last year, this is the problem with Queensland, I think, in a whole. They've got no speed in attack, and then there's no speed in defence. What I mean by that is they're never quick up the line. They're always lethargic when they're coming out of the line. Mm-hmm. And so they're never on quick, which allows New South Wales to make those extra 10 metres. The amount of times I'd see them take it out of dummy half and get so much ground, especially Damien Cook. Cook gets the most metres in Origin than he does. I swear to God.
He's real fast. He's super quick, though.
Fast.
He's rapid. He is rapid.
But there's no speed. There's no speed in the attack, and Queensland tend to bunch up a lot. We don't have a lot of spread, and that's because we don't have a lot of dynamic players anymore.
I think it's because they don't trust one another. To be honest, when they put that Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow in, I thought that was a really good pick. because he's a speedster. He's a speed demon. The first thing I would do if I was Billy Slater, the new coach, which I think is a great decision to have.
Do
Billy
you think
as the
it
coach.
is, or do you think he's going to get shown?
No, I think Billy is the ultimate competitor. Just from the stuff you hear about him over the years and how hard he trains and what standard he holds people to. I'll never ever forget the footage when Melbourne were coming off at half time and they were winning like 24 or 26-0 against someone, and Billy Slater was tearing shreds off Cooper Cronk, right? Saying he wasn't giving him the ball, blah, 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 and they were winning 26-0. The guy's a perfectionist, and the guy is an ultimate competitor, so I think he will have the ability to get the best out of these players. And like he's no Mal Meninga, because Mal Meninga has like a terrifying presence about him.
Yep.
But
he has an authority.
you have to respect him. You have to respect Billy Slater for what he's done. Like I would, as ridiculous as it sounds, I would respect Billy Slater more than I would Paul Green. Like Billy Slater is, he's a proven winner. Like Paul Green was a decent footy player and a decent coach. He's won a grand final with the Cowboys, but there's something that I think Billy would pull out of you. He'd get something out of you. But if I was Billy, the first thing I would do is I'd put Dane Gagai back on the wing.
Yeah,
Dane Gagai on the wing won a Wally Lewis medal, for God's sake.
He's a good winger.
His best position in Origin is on the wing because he kick returns like a fucking psychopath. I'd put him there with probably Valentine Holmes, and then just find a centre. Find a centre. Put Brimson in the centres. You know what I mean? Put
but also
fucking
another thing for Queensland is that we have been a little bit unlucky that Ponga hasn't played every single Origin. So
we plays the last one and we win. So
yeah, I know, but they're yet to build a proper unit at the back, and they're yet to build their defensive strategy with who their players are. So that Ponga hasn't been at the one, and you haven't had players are playing out of position a lot of the time, and you haven't been able to actually set up that unit. I know that's kind of stretching and kind of fishing.
No, but it's a valid point.
I think it is a valid point.
Our best team didn't play at all this year. Like if I was to build an Origin team, it would be definitely Ponga at one, Gagai and Holmes on the wings. I'm not real sure on the centres. I honestly don't know.
We're not blessed for centres at the moment.
No, Munster for sure as the six. And then halfback gets iffy because there's a tried and tested Daly Cherry Evans who made it through the finals, but do we need to pass the baton on to a Sam Walker or someone like that? What do we need to move on?
You know what I mean?
He's captain. That's
I think right now, if you look at, you got to look at how Walker and Walsh go in terms of their season coming up. Now, if they have absolutely breakout years, then I think you've got to put them in there and maybe give them a go. But if they're still kind of developing and just getting better gradually, then I think Cherry Evans will probably stay in there. But I think you've got to put them in the squad and embrace them and put them in that environment so they get used to it and know what Origin's about and know what the feeling.
Even just take them into the squad and let them train with the main squad for the week.
Absolutely, yeah,
because I think Walsh will be hard to get in over the likes of Ponga and Brimson, and like you can't leave Brimson out of the team. He'd have to be in the centres probably because, in my opinion, you have to play Ben Hunt at 9. His best position for us is 9, which will then put Harry Grant back to the bench.
Harry Grant's better off the bench. Because
I agree.
Harry Grant is explosive, but for a full game, I don't think he can control the game.
Defensively, he'll be able to do it, but Ben Hunt is brilliant at 9. Brilliant.
He's brilliant at 9. He's a better 9. I'd love him to play 9 for the Dragons. I honestly would.
You fucking oats.
But what do you think about South Sydney, mate? Where do you think they go from here? They've lost a few players now. Reynolds, Gagai.
I think they're going to have a bit of a spiral. So Wayne's gone, and it's going to be interesting to see where Wayne will go. If he retires, if he goes to a new team. Reynolds is gone.
A bit left in him. So.
I don't know where he's going to go, though. You know what? I can see him going to the Tigers. I really can. But I don't think he can fix them. He's going to be similar at the Tigers like he was with us at the Knights. Because I don't really know where else would he go back and steal Griffin's job again by going to St. George. I
don't think he's coming back to St. George. I think we've kind of not fully invested in Griffin. I wouldn't say that, but I think that we're going to trust him. I don't think they want to go down that Bennett road again because last time after he left, he did the same thing he does to everybody. He kind of just leaves you in shit and guts you.
He does.
Sets up contracts where he back ends the contract. So He can get all these good players at the start, and then towards the end, he's like, "See you later," and you can do all the rest of that.
Well, South Sydney's most important player in Adam Reynolds as well going to Brisbane. That's a massive loss for them.
Big loss.
He's their captain. He's their goal kicker. He's their tempo guy. Like he does all the dirty work that allows Walker and Cook and Latrell to do all their beautiful work. He does all the calling, all the play setup. He does all of it. So to see who they're going to put in that position is really fucking interesting.
And I don't think Milford's going to be anything when he goes there.
Milford's had one good game since 2015, and it was the last game against the Knights this year.
They overpaid for the shit out of him.
He's the ultimate overpaid player in history. He's the ultimate overpaid player.
Cody Walker's a brilliant player.
Oh, mate, he's beautiful. Sorry, mate. He's beautiful to watch. He's fucking oh Jesus, my coughs are fucked. He's on another plane. He didn't debut till he was 26. Funnily enough.
That's wacko.
Yeah, so like he had a few.
Story, I think.
He does. He was a grub when he was younger, but he turned his life around, had a couple of kids, decided to put all these fucking all these chips into one basket, and fucking good on him. Good on the big fella.
Yeah, good.
Let's have a little quick chat about another love of mine, the National Football League. My Bears got up, thank the good Lord.
My 49ers did not.
No, they didn't. Justin Fields looked a bit more like himself. He still hasn't thrown a touchdown. Our defence was rock fucking solid. David Montgomery, rock solid. Darnell Mooney took this one-handed catch, man. If you can, I shared it to our Instagram already. Fuck me, it was a belter of a catch. A belter. We were just too good for the Lions. We were way too good for them.
Look, the Lions aren't a great team. Let's be honest about it.
No, they're not. They're really not.
They're really not. But yeah, no, it's a good win. You needed it, really. There was a bit of pressure under Nagy, and whether or not
I still think he's the first one to get sacked. I really do.
I don't know if it's going to be mid-season or anything like that, though, man. I think he might. It depends. It depends how bad the Bears' offense can get. Like, if it gets really bad that, Justin Fields is getting sacked a lot, because that game against, what was the last one they played last week? He just got drilled, and they only made 45 yards the entire game.
Justin Tucker, the kicker from the Ravens, had more yards than us.
Exactly. So if he has more games like that, then his head will be on the chopping block. But, if you pick up a couple of wins, he'll probably end up lasting the entire season, I reckon.
There was a couple of, my boy Josh Allen, 40-0 versus the Texans. I know it's the Texans, but still, he's on his way to pushing for that MVP status again, big Joshy. And
their best.
The Cardinals. Actually, you shared something the other day that really fucking shocked me. The Bears are in the tier 6 of football teams in the NFL. The lowest tier. They are ranked in the lowest tier. I thought, you bastards. And then I had a look. Our defense is not tier 6, right? Our defense is tier 2 at least. Our offense is tier 8, except for David Montgomery. The Cardinals, on the flip side, tier 1, and as they should be, once again, killing it.
Well, that's why I posted about it, because they had them as tier 2, and I was like, this is an outrage. Cardinals easily tier 1, and they dispatched fucking the Rams with relative ease. I thought they just look like you called at the start of the year. I think you made a really good call on this. I didn't really think it was going to happen because that division is so tough, but I think what you said at the start of the year is looking like a really, really good pick.
Mate, they're a different beast. They play this like free-flowing spread offense where they use so many different receivers in so many different receiver sets, and then all of a sudden, Kyler Murray will just get the naughty toddler legs on and just go.
Well, that's it. I think the thing is with Arizona right now is that their offense is so dynamic, and they can do anything they want, because they can run the football, they can pass, but if you try to, if you're playing zone or whatever you're playing, if you're playing cover, if you're playing man to man, and you've got it, let's say you got their pass game covered, Kyler Murray's just gonna kill you on his running game because he gets out of the pocket and he's so mobile that he's another threat, and it's so hard to stop. I've seen so many times where he gets out of the pocket and he gets that 10 yards and then they're up the field again and then bang, he starts throwing at people. And it's so hard because if you go one way and you think, okay, well, he's going to run now, maybe we'll blitz or something like that, he'll just pop it over the top of you. He's so dynamic, it's really hard to stop. Reminds me, it's weird, right? Because he's just his own blend of sort of player, because like Lamar Jackson is probably the best like mobile quarterback, I would say, but Kyler Murray is very fucking close.
Very fucking close.
Very fucking close.
Lamar Jackson's a different beast. I was having a look at the stats just then. Chandler Jones, old John Bones Jones' brother. It's his fair dinkum brother, by the way. They're brothers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Chandler Jones and John Bones are brothers. He had a real quiet game. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, right? So they tied a record yesterday for most consecutive games with 100 yards rushing at 43, right? And that's as a team for 100 yards rushing. They did that, and Lamar Jackson still threw 300 yards. He's a different beast, man. He gets better and better and better every year, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and I think with Lamar Jackson too, the criticism he gets for not being able to throw the football, I think it's just absolutely outrageous.
It's garbage.
It is garbage. When like he's a fucking insane talent. He won the MVP. Was it last year or the year before? Year before.
Last year.
No, last
year
year
before.
Was
Yeah, A-Rod. Yeah, the year before.
The year before. So the guy's an MVP already at such a young age. I don't think there's another quarterback like him. Now, Mahomes is mobile, but not that mobile. And
no.
Mahomes has probably got a better arm than what Jackson does, but Jackson's arm ain't bad, man. I'm telling you.
He gets better every year. There's
right.
something like lovely to watch about Lamar Jackson when he throws the ball. He just throws it so effortlessly, and he's so exciting to watch. Really, really exciting to watch.
He's a good player, man.
He's a great player. Kyle Howe's Browns, they won 14-7 in a Dower game, and the Raiders had their first loss of the season today. Justin Herbert was fucking good, man.
Justin Herbert's underrated, mate. I'm telling you.
Mate, he's so underrated. Do you know what? I was talking to Keely's brother about him today, and I put him down as like a non-mobile Josh Allen. Super strong, great throw power, big, solid, tough to bring down, accurate.
Yeah, I think it's
just
good.
Not as like he is a star of the future. It could be like I look at the young quarterbacks now, and if they stay healthy, man, we've got some long termers ahead of us here, like Mahomes, Jackson, Josh Allen, Herbert, Mayfield, fucking Derek Carr. I know he's over 30, but still he's pretty young.
Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence.
Exactly, man. There's a lot of long-termers heading our way. Poor old Trevor, 0-4.
I know, but I mean, we always knew that was going to happen. The Jaguars are useless. It's what happens. Like sometimes I feel sorry for people that are like literally pick ones, because they go to the worst team in the league and they're so good, and it takes them years until they get good.
Well, Peyton was 3-13 in his first year, and I think they went on to be like 12-4 the next year or something like that.
And I know from there what it's about is getting your quarterback, and then from there it's building your O-line and building receivers around him, so you can put together a potent offense. I know that's how it goes, but sometimes you get the flip side where it's not every single quarterback can handle constant losses and losses and losses and losses. It takes a different type of quarterback to be able to go through that and then become better. Like some of them don't make it. They don't come out of it because they can't handle getting beat all the time, and they move on. They don't want to be there. They get unhappy. All that type of shit. So it's a really delicate situation. But I think for Trevor Lawrence, the wins will come. He's very, very talented, but he's not being he's not being able to show his talent because Jaguars are so fucking useless.
Trevor's not even his real name. His first name's William. His middle name's Trevor.
Why wouldn't you go by William?
I don't know. Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
William the Wid.
I want to touch on our game. I thought it was a great game. It was only 7 games, so.
God, I'm so sorry for coughing when you listen to this. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, mate. You're a sick mess.
I feel sorry for the people who have to listen to that fucking awful cough.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, that's all right. Hopefully the people enjoy it.
Notoriously, though, against the Seahawks, we never beat the Seahawks. I can't remember a time. I can't really remember the last time we beat the Seahawks.
Probably the 2012 Super Bowl season, or whatever.
Yeah. But we just always struggle against the Seahawks, so I'm not surprised we lost. But I think what the most exciting thing about this game is because I knew it was going to be high scoring. I knew that both defenses weren't really going to stop each other because we're both really good going forward. Nick Bosa, by the way, just before I talk about...
Oh, how good is he?
Mate, I think he had about 5 sacks. It was unbelievable.
Him and his brother. Fuck.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he had a really, really good game. But I think this was the start, and I think you're probably going to see in the next 3 to 4 games, this was the start of Trey Lance. Because Trey Lance, he had 18 attempts, and he threw for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And he threw a 76-yard touchdown, and Jimmy G only threw for 165 yards, and he had way more attempts.
And Trey Lance ran the ball 7 times too. This is, I think, similar with Trey Lance. Justin Fields has taken the reins out of necessity because Andy Dalton got hurt, but Justin Fields played pretty decent today. Yeah. Trey Lance, I think, is right on that trajectory. I think Jimmy G... Week 8 is trade deadline in the NFL, so I don't think they'll trade Jimmy G, but fuck, you could get some stuff for him. You can get some stuff.
You're in... And, in the San Francisco sort of, page, like sports groups and all that I follow, these have been thrown around since pretty much the fucking draft. That why haven't San Francisco got rid of Garoppolo and just got decent returns from him, either A, in picks, or B, another solid piece that can really help our offense, or another solid piece that can help our defense, whatever we want to go with. Because you would get, there's plenty of teams out there that need a quarterback and a decent quarterback. I'm looking at, you look at probably the Broncos. The Broncos need a decent quarterback.
The Colts.
Only got the Colts
went down.
Yeah, they've only got, Bridgewater, the Broncos, and there's other teams out there that really need a solid quarterback. So we could really fleece some teams. And, if you're going to go with Trey Lance, which I think they will, I think you should make that move now because Jimmy G still got some stock. And if you run the risk of if you don't play him for the rest of the year and you invest in Trey Lance, then his stock goes down, and what are you trading him for? You're trading him for fucking 3rd or 4th round picks or whatever. And
if I was the 49ers, I'd be treating this like a football trade, like a Premier League trade where I'd want to be getting money for my product. So instead of holding him till he goes out as a free, trade him now and get some real value out of him.
And I'm 100% with that, because I think we're still a little bit light on receivers, and I know that Deebo Samuel had a great game.
He had a blinder.
Kittle
was good as
Kittle's
usual.
always good, but apart from that, you're not
you're thin.
really...
You're thin there. Mohamed Sanu's a professional, but you're thin in the receiver stocks.
But and look, AU can have a great game every now and then, but he's not consistent enough, and I just think you need maybe another good quality player, because apart from Samuel, and if he starts to get, man on man every single game, and they start to cover him, who are you going to throw it to?
George. George gets double teamed all the time.
Exactly, he gets double teamed all the time. So it's tough. It's tough who you go for.
It was it's been an interesting fucking start to this NFL season.
Patriots versus the Bucks. That was a great game, I thought.
Mate, the old dog still got it, doesn't he? Mac Jones had a great game. Tom Brady's now officially beaten every team in the NFL.
Tom Brady
only played at every beat all 32 teams. The cunt is just unstoppable.
He's an all-time leader for passing yards.
80,000. Like, the guy is... I don't usually like a tall poppy, but I love Tom Brady.
The thing is, though, at this point, and they picked up Richard Sherman. That's another big pickup for them. I was a little bit gutted we got rid of him, to be honest. Now he's onto the Bucks, and
he had a pretty good game too. He had a fair game.
Another solid piece for them there on their defense, so it will shore them up a bit. But you're just running out. You were genuinely running out of superlatives to explain this guy. I can't. I just can't explain it. How the guy's 45, man. Seriously.
And he just keeps getting better and better and better.
I would make a fair comment, and I want to know your argument on this. You've probably got a little bit more knowledge in the football world than I do, but I would make a fair argument that this is the best Tom Brady I've seen. Now, I know that there was a couple of years of the Patriots where he was unplayable, but
I think the Randy Moss Tom Brady was the best one I've ever seen when he threw 50 touchdowns.
He was incredible then, but I don't know, man. There's something about him this year. He just looks incredible.
He's still got that competitive fire. You can see it in him. He still gets just as excited about a regular season win as he ever has.
I don't think you ever lose it when you're that elite and you're at that level. Your competitive drive is so much higher than the average person. Yeah, I don't think it would ever go.
He's so competitive. He got his own hair to grow back properly. Like, the guy is the ultimate of ultimates. He astounds me. I feel like he's a nice guy too. Like, he does one weird thing where, like, actually, it's not even that weird. Like, he still kisses his son on the lips, and I think his son's like 14. But it's his son, and if his son likes it, then who cares? You know what I mean? Like, if that's what they do, that's what they do in that family.
Some people do that. I mean,
I don't know if I will. I kiss my son on the lips now, but I don't know if we're doing when he's 14.
So, yeah, I probably wouldn't then, but some people do.
When they got facial hair, you're not allowed to kiss them on the lips anymore.
Yeah, but that's it. It's a bit strange.
I can't help it. I love giving me a little fellow a smooch on the lips.
So do I. We've got to the point now where Elliot knows what. If I say kiss, he knows what it means, so he puts his lips out. It's really cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's Brady. He's unbelievable.
He is. We're both in big games this week, the two of us. I got the Raiders on Monday night, and you've got the Cardinals on Monday night.
Oh, jeez, good luck with that. Yeah, well, I mean, jeez, well, I can't see us beating the Cardinals right now. I'd love to say that we could, but I don't think that's going to happen. Just before we talk about the next round of them, that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, starting to get his roll on. The first game was atrocious, the worst I've ever seen him play. But ever since then, 3 games, one on the road in San Francisco with 37 seconds left, the dog. And now
he was, I think
Steelers,
he was,
solid.
He was terrible round 1 because he didn't fucking train at all in the off season, and it took him one game. I think I said it about a month ago. He'll prove us all wrong and come back better than ever, and he's done it straight away. It took him one game, and he's straight back to his old self. The guy is a fucking psycho.
Players like that, you can't contain them. You can't hold them down.
No,
you really can't. In terms of talent, probably, arguably, the most talented quarterback I've ever seen.
It's disgusting he's only won one big dance, though.
That's what I mean. Because he hasn't been in part of the best teams, and he hasn't had the best players around him, and he hasn't been in the best system and stuff like that. But in terms of talent, he's right there. He really is right there. He's incredible.
Last year they should have done it, but Tom stopped him again. The big bad Brady does it again. A few years in a like they've been in the big dance a few years in a row, like the NFC Championship game.
If they didn't go for that field goal on the fucking 4th down,
that's true.
If they had went for it, he would have got a touchdown. They would have won that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Matt LeFleur made a bad fucking decision there.
LeFleur. He's so talented, but he just needs a few more SBs under the belt. He'll go down in the Hall of Fame. It seems everyone gets into the Hall of Fame these days, but he'll definitely go into the Hall of Fame.
I think the prerequisite for Hall of Fames nowadays is a little bit lighter than what it used to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Like Calvin Johnson is in... So this is... Fucking listen to this one for a stat. Sorry, I coughed again. Calvin Johnson is in the Hall of Fame, right? He debuted after Tom Brady. I think he debuted 2 years after Tom Brady. He retired 3 years ago, and he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I feel like there should be... Unless you're like... So, for example, unless you're Tom Brady, or you're that elite where you're breaking records or something like that, I feel like you have to wait, 5 years to be in the Hall of Fame.
Like, there should be, even tiers of it. Like, you look at Terry Bradshaw, right? He won 4 Super Bowls with the Steelers. That's an elite amount as a quarterback, right? And his teammates with him. Tom Brady, when it comes to Hall of Fame, Tom Brady should be the biggest bust there, and he should be in his own room where you walk in and you pray to him. Because he's a football god.
He's got to have his own statue. He's got to have everything. His own wing. Yep.
And then there's everyone else outside of that. There'll be no one even allowed close to that big bastard statue. He's that good.
You see that thing on... you see the part in... have you seen Ted?
Yes, I have seen Ted. Funnily enough, I have.
Where they're trying to get Tom Brady's sperm, and they fucking lift the sheets up, and it just shines like this big golden cock.
Yes, mate. I told you you would have a gold-tipped penis.
He does have a gold-tipped penis.
I just know for a fact he'd have a golden-tipped penis.
Oh, mate.
What a time to be alive, hey?
Did you see the NBA preseason start up? Have you seen much of it?
I've seen a smidgen, and you know what? I'm so excited about this Bulls team, man. We've touched on it lightly, but I think we have got playoffs written all over us, man. I don't think we'll get to the big one, but this is the start of something good for us, real good.
I think they've done playoffs written all over us as well.
Yeah, they've bought real well for us. I think. Will we be able to edge out Milwaukee? I don't think so in our group, and then also we've got to fucking edge out the Nets, but I think it's going to be the start of something good for us. Get a few playoff games under the belt, maybe go 2 rounds in, hopefully. I'll be disappointed if we don't make the playoffs this year, I can tell you that right now. I'll be furious if we don't make the playoffs.
Absolutely. I think that if you look at the fact of the minute that we actually changed our GM, and we changed it to, we got rid of Garpax and we got the guy from the Denver Nuggets, right?
Yep.
And he was the guy that was the reason that they got Jokic, the reason why they got Murray, the reason why they got Porter Jr.
Yeah.
And all that bunch at the Nuggets to make them the team that they are now. He was the reason for it. We signed him. It's taken him a year, and he's already put together a solid team with Lonzo Ball. He made that trade for Vucevic last year, midway through the season.
That's one of the best trades I've seen in a long time. I think
so.
With bias because of being a Bulls man, that is one of the best trades I've seen.
Well, in terms of what we actually gave up to get him, and then arguably he's a really good center because he can shoot the ball. So he's able to spread the floor and he can shoot from anywhere, and he's good inside the paint. When I was a little bit gutted about, but I'm not really gutted about because he had about 4 seasons and he didn't really produce. Was Markkanen's gone now? He's been traded, but you know, it is what it is, man. Like he got enough chances and he just didn't really live up to that I don't know,
hype. The hype.
Yeah, the hype. You know what I mean?
The hype.
But you know, you talk about us. And if we're going to make it out into the playoffs, if we're going to win our division, I don't think we'll win our division. I think that's the Bucks. But we don't like the Bucks is the only real threat in our divisions. The Pacers are pretty solid, but the Pistons and the Cavs are useless. So we probably could be the second best team in the division. Is that going to be enough to get us in the 8? Probably. I mean, the Atlantic division in the East is easily the hardest. Boston
by far.
76ers and Toronto. I mean, good luck.
How do you fucking?
So
it makes you better though. It makes you better because you have to be at your best to win those games.
Well, all 4 of those teams, so the Celtics, the Nets, the Knicks, and the 76ers all got to the playoffs last year. So 4 teams out of the 8 were from the Atlantic division last year. So that division is stacked. Milwaukee were the only team out of our division last year to get it. So if we can win enough games, I think we could. You know, Charlotte made it last year. Miami made it last year. Yeah. I don't know. I think we could probably we could be better than Charlotte. I think we're better than Charlotte.
I think so. I think we're better.
A great player for Charlotte, but I think we're better than them. Miami are going to be good now. They've got Kyle Lowry with Butler and.
I'm excited to see Pat Williams go with a bit of a more stable guards around him, more experience sort of with Lonzo and DeRozan, because Pat Williams had a great rookie year, but this could be a big year for him.
But I think what also makes it exciting for us is that over the last couple of years, it's been so ISO heavy. So just giving the ball to Levine, throw in a couple of screens, and just let him just ISO it and pull up or just dunk. And now, because we've had nobody else to really facilitate offense, like Kobe White's been pretty good, but I think he's better in a second unit than what he is actually running an offense. And so Lonzo's going to come in, dictate the play, doesn't need to get fucking 20 points. He's just happy to do his part. And then DeRozan's another guy that can get 25 a night. Fucking Levine can get 25 a night. And then Vucevic can get 25 a night. So we got 3... I feel we've got 3 legitimate scoring threats. And then you put on that in the second unit, you still got Wendell Carter Jr., still a great center. Caruso, who's going to be a good player. Kobe White's still there. So we've still got a pretty good core of players. I think it's good enough to win an amount of games to get us in the playoffs.
I think so. I think we've got a lot of excitement coming our way.
Who excites you in the West, mate? Because there's there's been a lot of movement. Obviously, there's some players coming back. Clay, and Curry will be back in full swing.
They're going to be back in full swing. They're going to be good as they always are. In the West, I think Denver look okay. I think Denver look as a little smoky. They're not going to win anything, but I like the look of them. Phoenix look pretty good with Devin Booker. I think it's going to be hard to go past the bad boys out in fucking the Bay with Clay and fucking Steph Curry. They're going to be real hard to beat. I think the Lakers are going to have a really hard time with them. It's a two-horse race out there for me. Really, that's it. The Lakers and the old Splash Bros.
I'll make a big call now that the Phoenix Suns won't even get out of the first round.
Yeah, that's fair call.
So they made the finals last year. I think they'll be like the Heat. So when the Heat made the finals against the Lakers, the next year they were trash. I don't think Phoenix will be trash, but I don't think they'll be anywhere near the level they were this year.
That's a fair fucking call.
I just think Chris Paul's a year older. And yeah, they still got some young talent, but I don't know, I just got this gut feeling that teams might figure them out a little bit. And it's going to be hard to go back to back. Well, it's going to be hard to make a push in the West when you've got LA. Both LA teams will be good. And then you've got Golden State, who, well, I mean, if you've got Clay and Steph, and they've still got Draymond, so that team won 73 games, man. Those three, and then you've got that young player in Wiseman, I think, the center, the high pick. So he's going to be better. They're going to be good, man. I don't know if they're going to be number one. I don't know if they're going to win it, but I think they could make a conference final easily.
The Nets will be tough to beat in the East.
In the East, it's going to be the Bucks versus the Nets again. I can't see it being any other way. It'll be the Bucks versus the Nets in the conference finals, and literally Kevin Durant's shoe size stopped it last time. So who knows?
Old big toe Durant.
There's a little bit of a story emerging with Kyrie that he could end up fucking getting turfed, because he's not taking the vaccine because of his fucking weird beliefs, and I'm not going to get too much into what I think about all that stuff on a podcast, but he's refusing to get the vaccines, and it's pretty much mandated.
Jay-Z's telling him, get it.
Well, it's pretty much mandated in the NBA, like, because they do all that travel and shit. Like, if you're a sports player, I think it's pretty much you
just
got to get it,
it,
right?
Just anyway, get it. It doesn't matter.
Because he's refusing.
I'm not dead. I got it. What's the worst thing that happened to me?
And because he's refusing to get it, he's not allowed to train. He's not allowed to play at the moment, and so he's creating a little bit of discontent, or in the group, I would say. And a lot of people are tipping that maybe the Nets front office will just get the shits with him and just want to look at a trade. And look, I can't exactly be too surprised by it. He sort of does this. He's a bit of a maverick. But
where do you reckon he'd go?
But in a bad way? Like, I don't know where he would go, man. I don't know what team wants to point
back to Cleveland.
That isn't reliable. He's not reliable.
Back to Cleveland.
You pay for reliability, don't you? So you pay
Absolutely.
hundreds of millions because you want that player to play year in, year out, and try to get you to as close
and
as
be really consistent.
Exactly, right? And so how can you expect to claim that money or command that money when you're not wanting to play fucking half the games?
Exactly.
Like, if he says, "Oh no, I'm going to change and I can play that amount of games," and yada yada yada. Well, why aren't you doing it for the Nets? You're with your best buddy Durant, and you've got James Harden. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't. He's just a weird fella. Like, he's got Kyrie. It just frustrates me because he's got so much talent. Like, arguably one of the best point guards I've ever seen. His handles are incredible. The way he can finish the rim, he can shoot from three. He's unbelievably good. Like, top tier point guard. But his brain is so fucked up, he can't get on the court. Like, and he's such a weird cunt. He frustrates me because he's so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're a Nets fan, or even a Cleveland fan, or even a Boston fan, when he was at Boston, you'd know a little bit about it. You must be so pissed off. Because,
I'd be furious.
You'd want, like, if you got Kyrie Irving, and you thought to yourself, "Fuck, we got Kyrie Irving. Now we can probably really challenge." And then he just doesn't turn up. He fucking goes missing. Like, there was a large part of last year where he was like, "Oh, I'm just taking time off. I need to just work on myself." And he just gapped it and never came back. And he was still getting paid. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Yep. That's where you got to give. And I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. You know how much I love MJ.
Yes.
But you got to give LeBron credit that every single fucking year that cunt turns up. Every single year. And he turns up. He tries his best. Doesn't always win, but he's always there, man. And then and even KD, to some respect, he's always playing. The only reason why he didn't play a year or two ago is because he snapped his Achilles.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
It's
Kyrie.
real quickly before we wrap up. There's a big game in the MLB. Both our boys are out. Sorry, the Cubs and the fucking Mets got knocked out before the finals even started.
Can I tell you a stat?
Yes, please.
The Mets are the first team ever to be leading for I think it was 100. We were top for 100 games, and we ended up not making the playoffs. We're the only team to ever do that in our division ever. That is
Jesus
the only.
Christ.
That is such a Mets thing to do. It's unbelievable. We love to set records for all the wrong reasons. So anyway, we didn't make it. We were top of the division in the NL East for pretty much the entire season, and in the last like 20 to 30 games, we went on this fucking horror run and just threw games away. Anyway,
Crazy.
Yep.
Well, the Yankees play the fucking fuck me, I'm sorry, Red Sox in the first wild card, but that's going to be a big one.
yeah, that's it. That's the old rivalry, mate. That's the OG rivalry in baseball. New York versus Boston, and
Yeah.
I'd go as far as saying, I mean, they are identical. They are literally 92 and 70, both same percentage. The last 10 Yankees have a bit of a better record in the last 10. Yankees have played them a little bit in the last couple of games as well, get a few wins to get himself in that position. But I would argue that I think that Boston probably might beat them. I think Yankees aren't that great this year. And I think that Boston have a little bit more about them when they get going. But I think the two best teams, and it's really weird, and this happens in baseball a lot. The two best teams in the MLB are in the same division, and they're not going to play in the World Series, and it's the Giants and the Dodgers. 107 wins for the Giants, 106 wins for the Dodgers. That is unbelievable. And they're not going to, because they got to, one of them's got to play each other before they get to the World Series, so one of them's going to get knocked out. And it doesn't deserve to be that way because they both should be in the World Series, but it's not how it goes. But the Giants were never touted. I don't know how much you followed it at the start of the season, but the Giants were like, they were predicted to have a shocking year, like absolutely terrible year. And they just have had this almost record-breaking season, 107 wins, 55 losses. Absolutely incredible. Yeah. The Brewers are pretty good. Cardinals are in there as well.
Do you know what I find weird? The fucking White Sox and the Cubs are in the same city. The stadiums are fucking stone's throw away from each other, and they're in different divisions. Not
Same
like
with us. So
they're in completely like they're in the American League. We're in the National League. It's fucking weird.
Same for New York. So the Mets are in the National League, and the Yankees are in the American League. It's just I don't know why. I'd have to do a little bit of research about why that happened. But a lot of cities are like that. They separate them, so one goes in one and the other goes in the other. I'm not entirely sure why they do that, but yeah, there's a few teams like that. Cubs were shocking this year. Terrible this year. They went on like a fucking 17 or 18 losing streak. It was atrocious. But awful. But yeah, it's going to be interesting sort of playoff. I'm really into it. I'll love to see how it goes. I mean, if I'm picking right now, I think the Dodgers will probably win it all because their team's so stacked. Their team
Fucking
so
stacked.
They've got like the best players in the batting and in the pitching. But you never know. You just never know in baseball. Baseball's a funny old game. Like teams that aren't that great can somehow win series. That's what makes it so interesting to watch for me. I love it.
You know, just before we go, I want to tell you something that's just jogged my mind. It's about something that happened when I was a teenager. I was at a party, and I was walking in the bush with this girl that I liked. And it was night, it was dark too.
How's this going?
And we were walking through the bush together, and she goes, "Oh, fuck, I'm pretty scared in here." And I said to her, "How the fuck do you think I feel? I've got to walk back alone." AKA murder mystery. No, I've never killed anyone. Or have I?
And did she shit her pants?
She did. It's not true.
I'm
going to go because I need to cough about 55 more thousand times, and we need to get this out so the people can hear me cough. It's all this is going to be an hour of me coughing. I'm deathly sorry to everyone who listens to this.
And an hour of vaginal stories of vaginal cream on the face.
Oh,
Your poor mother. Does she know that you've put her through this? How are people going to know her story, mate?
I reckon she'll love it.
She probably.
I reckon she'll just be happy to be a part of it.
She's like, I'm famous. So people come up to her and be like, so you were the lady with the vaginal cream.
That's her. So you were the lady with the creamy face.
The oily
How
texture.
dare you? The oily face.
All right, mate.
She's nothing like Kraft peanut butter. Always oily, never dry.
Never, mate. Never.
Alrighto, Collar. Enjoy your evening.
Alright, mate. Take care, bud.
Ta-ta.
See ya, mate.